This is you, and this is one of your triggers. Whenever a trigger shows up for you, you have two options basically. Option number one, you can cry about it, be scared, try to fight it, try to push it away. And in essence, what you're doing is you're magnifying it. You're keeping it present in your experience. It keeps showing up for you. Option number two, you stay neutral. You don't react. You don't engage with it. You don't become it. Therefore, you bring transmutation to that trigger, meaning it stops showing up for you. Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Fernando. Welcome to my channel. Today we're talking triggers. Yes, those little things that show up for us and make us feel so pissed and angry and make us react and give all of our power away. Right? Or right. Now, we have been enabling triggers for way too long. It's like we defend them. It doesn't feel fun. We're not having a ball, and yet we're like, don't touch my trigger. You know what I mean? It's like, it's my thing. Don't come near this, and we're covering it up and we're enabling it, allowing it to keep showing up. And so this video is about gaining clarity as to what's going on when they show up and how to handle them. How to handle a trigger with class, even if it doesn't feel comfortable. Because guess what? Triggers don't feel comfortable. So handling them is about feeling them, but not giving them your power. And when we do that, we find transmutation, which is really what we're doing here. That's why we come to play the Earth game, right? And so if this is resonating with you, then you want to stick around because it's going to be fun, it's going to help you, and this has the potential to transform your life as this has been transforming my life. And so to begin, we're going to talk about who we really are and what we're doing here. And for that, I'm going to quote a passage from the book, Your Soul's Gift by Robert Schwartz. And I love reading about soul plan, pre-birth planning, and the inner workings that take place before we come to the body, the physical body, play the 3D game, okay? This literally helps us to gain some clarity. So the quote is, our life plans are designed to heal certain energies left unresolved from our prior lifetimes. These include judgment of self and others, blame of self and others, anger, guilt, and many other such negative emotions. Talking triggers, right? If we complete lifetimes with these emotions still present in our consciousness, they become like residue on our souls. Our souls will then seek to transmute such emotions by planning lives that reflect these emotions back to us so we may address them. Hence, the triggers, right? That which remains unhealed from one lifetime must be healed in another. And so the thing is, we have eternity. Because we are eternal spiritual beings and we're having a temporary, finite, limited human experience. But then when we come here, the veil of forgetfulness comes down and we forget who we are. And we don't remember that we are the soul, not the body. We don't remember that we came here with a plan. And these things that are showing up for us are part of our plan for the most part. The triggers are guides. Let the triggers be the guides. Let the triggers be the guides. Let the triggers be the guides. Again, the triggers don't feel fun because they're part of the lesson. They are low density, low frequency emotions, right? The triggers make them surface so that we can heal them. So this is a chance, it's opportunity. It's not something that so if we're fighting them, if we're resisting them and trying to push them away, one, we're making it big, and two, we're not transmuting anything. And so we can go through a whole lifetime with unresolved, unhealed emotions because we're enabling them. We're like, don't touch my trigger, don't come near it, okay? And so the physical body dies, we return to spirit, and then we're like, oh, that hasn't gotten healed yet. Let's plan another one. Here we go again, okay? I'll remember this time. I promise I will. And then we come here and we forget everything. That's why I'm always saying the time is now. Literally, and I get the goosebumps just saying this. The time is now. Because guess what? We are in the body right now. And so the triggers that show up, they are guides. They are guides, they are guides, they are guides. And if we remember that they're the guides and that ultimately the soul, we are here to transmute those back to light, things become a little easier, even when things don't feel fun, because they don't feel fun, all right? But that's what we're doing here. So, I got a comment recently in one of the videos, and by the way, a lot of new people around here, a lot of new beautiful souls joining this beautiful pendulum here. You are very welcome. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I love you. And I'm here to help. I got a comment and I'm going to quote it. Every time I get emotionally triggered, I react. Then I realize what just happened and get even more angry and start guilt-tripping myself, which is so frustrating. Can you please help me out how to break this vicious cycle and not being reactive without avoiding my emotions? That's a good one. How can I break this cycle without being reactive, right? And without avoiding the emotions, because it's not about avoiding. Don't touch my trigger is avoiding. It's like you're doing all you can in order to not be faced with a trigger, because the trigger is inside of yourself. When you transmute, it's not active in you anymore. It's not active in your field. Transmutation means healing. It's so beautiful. And so this person is very aware, right? It's not about bypassing it. It's not about avoiding it. And so how to handle the triggers? Step number one, you know it. Awareness. It begins with awareness, right? Without awareness, you just can't transmute anything because you don't even know what's going on. But if you're watching this video, if you resonate with the things that I say, I am sure you got this down already. You are on a path. You are seeking healing. You are seeking transmutation. So you're aware. The person who wrote is aware of the situation. But then it's like, how do I do this? How do I break the cycle? So first, awareness, meaning acknowledging it. We acknowledge that this is a trigger and that this is a guide showing us the way back home, because the low emotions, the lower frequencies is not our true home. Our true home, spirit world, does not contain the lower frequencies, and so it's not part of what we are and who we are. But then we come here to transmute those back to the light, and this is the plane where we get the chance to do so, because the third dimension is the dimension of density. So what an opportunity are we having right now, right? And when we find this, things begin to be way more fun, and we begin creating heaven on earth. Option number one, you're creating hell on earth. Option number two, we're creating heaven on earth. And so even though earth is difficult, it's dense, it's low vibe, right? We have all of these frequencies that are low, like fear, anger, revenge, resentment. They're low and they don't feel fun. But when we understand what's going on and begin transmuting, we are on earth, the world of form, and we're creating heaven on earth. We're having a ball, right? And so life on earth can be splendid if we find alignment, and that's what we're doing. So transmuting it, swallowing that pill that's hard to swallow, even though it's hard to swallow, it finds transmutation and then you're set free. Okay? So acknowledging and being aware of the trigger is step number 1. Step number 2, stay neutral. What does it mean to stay neutral? It means to not react, to not complain. One of the things that changed everything for me was when I began doing the 21-day no complaints challenge. I heard of it in a book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. I think that's the title and I forgot who wrote it, but it's a fabulous woman with an incredible personality. And she talks about it there. And I remember thinking, ooh, that's a fun addition to my practices. So I've been on the path for like a little over 6 months. And then I decided to do that because even though I was never a person to like go out into the world and complain and voice complaints, you know what I mean? Like I realized that I actually complained quite a bit, meaning I had reactions on a moment-to-moment basis. For example, if I were doing something at home and something didn't go my way, if I spilled something, if something went wrong, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? So this was a very common thing for me. And this is complaining. Rolling your eyes is complaining. It's engaging with something you don't like. It's engaging with something that ultimately doesn't serve you. And so I embarked on this journey for 21 days without complaining. And it changed everything. And so like you start paying attention to every little detail, and whatever it is that's going on, you're just turning your back to all the things you don't like. You are an energy molding instrument. There's cosmic energy that flows to and through you at all times, and you're molding it with your state of being. And so if you're reacting, if you're complaining, the way you're molding cosmic energy is low vibe. And this, your aura, right? And your aura is your antenna, your point of attraction. So staying neutral, not complaining, not reacting, changes everything. It builds a foundation upon which you can manifest your dream life. So if you don't react, if you stay neutral, meaning you don't complain, you don't engage with the trigger, you are not giving your power to it. You're not magnifying the trigger, feeling exhausted as a result. So this is step number 2, stay neutral. But then we have step number 3, which is gratitude plus love. And I'm talking Ho'oponopono here, okay? You're going to resort to gratitude immediately. And then you might be asking, gratitude? I'm grateful for a trigger? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You'll be grateful for the trigger. Why? Because it's a guide leading you back home. It's a teacher showing up for you and being like, hey, this is something that you haven't transmuted yet and you came here for this. I am here to help you. I don't look very fun. I'm a little scary and I'm probably pissing you off right now, but don't misunderstand me. I'm your teacher. I'm your guide. And so you're like, thank you, thank you, thank you for this reflection. The world is you pushed out. There's no out there, right? It's a reflection. If you see it, if it triggers you, it's because it's in you. If you can spot it, you got it, right? And so thank you for this reflection. What is the lesson in this? Thank you so much for this reflection. What is the lesson in this? This shifts your frequency immediately, and I'm getting the goosebumps. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. So instead of reacting, you're immediately in gratitude. Look how powerful. So instead of your thoughts going all the way to the ego, you're allowing the ego to be so like loud in your head because you're feeling triggered. Your vibration is low, and ego thrives in low frequencies, right? So the ego is there begging you to react, and you're like, thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the lesson. Maybe you don't know what the lesson is. You get to ask it. What is the lesson in this? okay? And you thank it, you thank it, you thank it, because gratitude transmutes darkness back to light, okay? Ho'oponopono, you are cleaning on that memory that's being projected out into your external world, and now the trigger is reflecting that back to you, right? So you're thanking it, you're cleaning it, and then you're loving it. Unconditional love, unconditional love. Sometimes I see comments here. Most of the comments are so loving and it's so amazing, and I'm so grateful to all of you guys. Some comments are not so high vibe. They're questioning, they're pointing a finger. It doesn't feel superb to read a comment that's like saying you're doing something wrong or whatever, right? When someone's criticizing you. We've all been through this kind of situation, right? It doesn't feel comfortable. But I'm like, thank you. What is the lesson in this? What is inside of me that is causing this reflection? And so I'm grateful for it, even though it doesn't feel good, okay? I'm not saying that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for like a bad comment or whatever negative thing that shows up for you, whatever. The comment is just an example, right? I love you. I love you. And then I send the person love because the comment is coming from it's the ego. It's an ego game, okay? That's why political discussions online, arguments, that's an ego game. That's not who we are. And if the egos are present, that means the vibration is low, because the ego only thrives in low frequencies. So I choose love, and then I think about the person who wrote, and I'm like, I love you. What is the lesson in this? It's a lifesaver. I'm not even kidding. This is so powerful. And so number 3, you get to do ho'oponopono on it. You are resorting back to gratitude. You are resorting back to love, which is literally who you are. Yesterday, I was trying to make an appointment in the vet for my dog. Actually, I've been trying to do this since last week. And there's this clinic that I go to sometimes. And I wrote them last week, and I was like, does Dr. Jessica have, how's her schedule? Is she available to see my beautiful, precious dog? And they were like, we were texting, and they were like, I'm gonna check her agenda and I'll get back to you. Days passed, they didn't get back to me. I even sent like a waving emoji, like, hey, I'm here, I'm still waiting, and they no response. And so yesterday I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write them again. And so I asked about Dr. Jessica once again, and they were like, I'm gonna check her schedule. And I'm like, okay, I'll be waiting. And so hours passed and nothing. And I'm like, I could hear my ego voice going like, and then little triggers begin to pop up, like, oh, you're being rejected. Oh, they don't care about you. All these stories that the ego begins to throw up in our heads, So I was aware of them. They were not very loud, but I could hear them, because you know what? You might be watching this video and be going like, oh, he's talking all about these things. He might be above it. I'm not, okay? No one is really above it. Maybe like a truly enlightened person, maybe, I don't know. But ultimately, we're not, because we are playing the game. And so I go through all of these things, and that's why I share the message that I share with you, because it comes from experience. I'm not just throwing a lot of concepts at you that I don't experience. So this is me, okay? I go through all of these things. And so yesterday I heard that voice being like, oh, you have to do something about it. They're rejecting you. And then I'm like, no, everything is a reflection. Maybe I'm not supposed to go there. There's another clinic right next to my house. Maybe I'll go there. It's fine. This is allowing what is. They're not replying. That's cool. I have other options. I love you, okay? And so I sort of forgot about them, and then they sent me a message. Oh, Jessica has she's available tomorrow at 4. I'm like, okay, deal. And so I wasn't even expecting it anymore, and then bam. And so not following the ego voice, not reacting is everything, because it gives you your power back. Now, before I wrap things up, so the person says, oh, I react, and then I'm like, oh, I'm feeling horrible. If you cannot stay neutral and you end up reacting, How about step number 4? Pick yourself up no matter what. Pick yourself up. You get to pick yourself up. Never, ever, ever beat yourself up. Ever. Ever. Negative self-talk, same thing. Just throw it out. Ever. Don't do it even as a joke. Okay? So if you end up reacting, take a breath. Okay? And pick yourself up, because not a lot of people are willing to go through this. Okay? You are a beautiful soul on a path here. You are dedicated to this. You're doing your best. And so if you slip up, stand back up and pick yourself up. Treat yourself, okay? Do something that's fun for you. Oh, I slipped up. I react. I'm feeling kind of weird. Go watch a fun movie. Go eat your favorite meal. Go take a bath. Go take a nap with your dogs. Okay? Go roller skating. Go to the movies if that's your thing. Whatever it is. Because by doing that, you're finding alignment again. You're going back to joy. Joy, 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 joy. We are here to be in joy. Don't listen to what society tells you. You're supposed to hustle and grind and have a horrible time. That's not what this is about, okay? This just perpetuates hell on earth. And so if this message resonates with you, I am sure you're going to love the video I filmed on gratitude. It's a masterclass. I walk you through the steps that I, take when I practice gratitude. So I'm going to go ahead and link it up here so you can check it out.